one essential relaxation pose. So for this pose, you're going to need some props. So if you have traditional yoga bolsters and blocks, this is very helpful. If you don't, just gather a bunch of pillows and books and blankets from your home and then come and meet me on the yoga mat. You can pause the video and come back. Okay, so if you have a bolster, you're going to take a bolster and place it lengthwise on your yoga mat or on the floor, or roll up some thick blankets and place them in the same kind of position. And you can take a block and put the block at an angle like this under the bolster and place the bolster on that block. So I would say to come about 1/3 the way down the end of the bolster. If you don't have a bolster, then you might need to stack a couple of books there, and so that it doesn't collapse, because if you don't have a firm bolster, you'll get a big collapsing here. So instead, you could take some thick blankets or big towels, like beach towels or a comforter, and roll that under with your books or your blocks, and this will help avoid it collapsing. Okay, so depending on the flexibility across your chest and with your arms, you might need some supports for your arms. So I'm going to show it with a support, and it'll depend on your flexibility if this is high enough. So I'm going to show with just a folded blanket. So I've taken the classical yoga blanket and folded it and made it flat. And so you would want to have 2 of these, one on each side, or even some big cushions. Then you're going to come and sit close to your bolster or stack of blankets and centered. Okay, so that the stack is really centered where your sacrum, that flat bone at the bottom of the spine, is. And then you just gently lean yourself back. So ideally, you don't want to have very much or no or very little space here, so that if you feel like your back is supported. Okay? And if this feels like it's not high enough, then you can also stack another bolster or a couple of blankets. One thing we want to be aware of is that we want the chin to be a little bit closed. So if I'm going back and I find that my head is hanging, something like this, it's not so great for the neck. So we want to take some blankets and place them behind the head, and you could even put a little roll under the neck. So the way I'm going to show you is you're going to interlace the hands behind the head, lengthen the back of the neck, place the back of the head deliberately on the mat, and then stretch out your legs. Separate the feet in any distance that feels comfortable for you, and then just shake the legs about a little bit and let them release. Then you're going to place your hand and your arm on your prop, turning either the palm up or the palm down. If the palm is down, sometimes I like to bring my blanket so that my fingers can just release over the blanket, something like this. And if you happen to have a little towel or an eye pillow, you can take that and kind of shake the beads around so that they're not too heavy right over the top of the eyes. And shake that about so it finds itself in a comfortable position. I find that if it's right on the bridge of my nose, it starts to feel uncomfortable after a while. And do any last minute adjustments you might need. And then start to bring yourself inwards. Like you can feel the body first from the inside. From the inside out. Noticing the inner vibration of the body. So if it feels quite active, I like to first start with some ujjayi breathing. So making a sound with the breath. Deepening the breath. Making the inhales and the exhales a little longer so that you feel the rib cage expanding forward and back, side to side, up and down. Seeing if you can make the inhales and the exhales the same length, same sound. And once the inner vibration of the body starts to feel more calm, then the breath can slowly become more and more quiet. Maybe the chest isn't moving as much. So the breath is almost becoming imperceivable. You can scan the body. Noticing if there's any tension remaining. So anywhere you habitually hold any tension, have a look in those areas. Some typical places will be the belly or the solar plexus, that soft part between the ribs. Or maybe you're clenching on with the buttocks or the lower back. Perhaps there's some tension in the thoracic cage or the throat, the neck, or the jaw. And then begin to relax the facial muscles. Like you're relaxing the face from behind the face. Relaxing behind the eyes. Behind the forehead. Allowing the breath to become more and more subtle. Almost like you are barely even breathing. Just completely letting go. Letting the props that are connected to the floor, that's connected to the foundation of your house or your building, that's connected to the earth. So essentially you're allowing the earth to hold you, support you, allowing you to completely let go. Slowly slide one foot up towards you. Slide the other foot. Separating the feet wide. You can kind of shake around, readjust the skin of the buttocks so it feels a little more comfortable. And let the knees fall towards one another. And then slowly removing the prop under one of the arms. You're going to use that arm to rest on. Bring the opposite arm over towards that side. You're going to slowly roll off your props, extending out the first arm, using that arm as a pillow so you can relax on one side. And then pressing into your hand, allowing the hand to feel heavy. You slowly come up to a sitting position. Namaste.